Hello, everybody, and welcome to an unusual comics with kids because this is actually comics that are not for kids, meaning comics that are indie label or image label comics that are adult friendly and certainly will be over the line, not stuff that I'll show to my girls for quite a long time. So I thought it'd be fun to share a few of these. Mainly, I'm doing this video, though, I will say, for Ryan, Sir Sargent, who works with Comic Tom, because he was obsessed with my movie collection, and I'm still somebody who still buys Blu-rays and buys DVDs, mostly just because I don't like being frustrated when, oh, that movie's just not streaming right now. So I'd rather just own it if I like it and then watch it whenever I want. So he was wanting to get a better view of my movies. So what I'm going to do at the end of this is stick in a little video where I show you kind of what's on my shelf. So if you care, stick around to the end. If you don't, then you can just watch the comic portion and then forget the rest. So what I thought I'd share is just some of the books, non-superhero books that I've always really loved. The stuff that got me back into collecting after a big break. And that I've really just devoured. A lot of them I only have in a trade paperback version because I started getting into it way after the initial release of the first issues or whatever. So I'm going to go to the one that I've read the most, and I actually have the first issue for this one. The first one I wanted to discuss is this, 100 Bullets. If you haven't read 100 Bullets, I tell you right now, just stop watching this video and go straight out and buy it because it is that good of a trade. They did, I believe it's 12 trades over the course of the comic run. They did 100 issues and then that was it. So it's done. They've finished the whole run. You can go and basically pick them all up if you want. It's by Vertigo, and the basic premise I'll give you involves a briefcase opportunity given to a different person every 6-7 issues, and there's a couple of characters who reoccur, but most of it is new characters coming in, especially at the beginning. And the idea is you're given a briefcase and a chance to get revenge on someone who's done wrong on you. The briefcase has an untraceable gun and 100 bullets and proof, evidence that this person did you wrong in your life, and then you get the decision. Do you use it to seek revenge? Knowing that you'll completely get away with whatever you do, will you use it? So it's a great morality tale. And then, of course, as the series goes on, you realize that there's a reason why these briefcases are being given out. There's an interconnection to what's going on. So it's a fun kind of crime noir drama. And once I had read the first 2 trades, I was just done. I had to get involved. And I've been lucky enough to find the first issue. I had a friend through Instagram that I've met with that had this and was totally willing to give me a good price on it. And I just had to have it because I think, honestly, at some day, someone's going to make a wicked good TV show out of this, and it's just going to be so much fun to watch it. So that was the first one. At the same time, I also got into Why the Last Man, which, if you haven't read that one, I only have like a half of the issues. This is another one that's totally done. The Vertigo has finished publishing all the stories. They've been trying to make it into a TV show, trying to make it into movies. They've tried back and forth, and I hear it's on track maybe at this point to actually to have it happen, but who knows? I just know that it's a great story. If you're not familiar with it, a virus strikes our planet, or something happens on our planet where everything with a Y chromosome, all the men die except for one guy and his pet monkey. Which, if that doesn't make you interested and laugh, then why not, right? I mean, I honestly, that hook alone, and I was in. So the artwork is really, really fun. The writer Brian K. Vaughan has done a lot of cool stuff, including Ryan. He wrote on Lost. Check into that. So I was just hooked on that idea alone, and then it's just really funny and clever the way they do it, and the covers are really unusual to each issue. So I recommend that one. The third one that I got into at the exact same time as those two was Fables. And this one's a little more nichey. It's taking classic fairy tale stories and connecting them to our world, which has been done before, but this is the R-rated Game of Thrones kind of version. It's very violent, and I love the way they're sort of subverting the characters. So the main 2 characters involve Snow White, who is now the sort of right hand to the mayor of Fabletown in New York, which is like a hidden, they hide their identities. And then the sheriff of Fabletown, the law, is the big bad wolf known as Big B Wolf. And it sort of centers around their relationship, on again, off again, but also more like how it's hard to change the past of who you are. And the big bad wolf is big and bad for a reason. So it's kind of interesting to see his sort of Wolverine-like character. The first trade is all about the possible death of Rose Red, Snow White's sister, but it just builds on there. The first three trades, I think, are unbelievable. They even do a take on George Orwell's Animal Farm, where you have all the talking animals from Fabletown have been living on this farm in upstate New York, and you can kind of see their society and how they don't have the chance to integrate with our world as easily because they're, a talking animal. I've only been able to get like the first 3 issues of Fables, but I'm going to slowly start collecting the first 10 or so because I think it's really, really good. I doubt it'll ever become a movie or a TV series, but it's just really good entertainment. So I really have always gotten a lot of joy out of that storyline. I will say they've tried to spin it off. They did Jack of Fables. They've tried to spin it off. The original is still the best. I never really enjoyed any of the spin-offs. If you just go with those basic, whatever it is, 10 trades, you'll get a great story. That's what I was really into. So those are the ones that I started with. Later I got into, because of my Bendis love, Powers. It's hard to beat Powers. It's a really, really, really good read. And it just takes, like I was saying before, it's the rated R version of Marvel, basically. You can take all those classic superhero tropes, but now you get to run them through an R-rated filter. And, these 2 police officers who investigate superpower-related crimes. And Who Killed Retro Girl is the first trade in that story. They've done a lot of trades over the years, and it builds towards some really amazing reveals. I think it's somewhere around trade number 10, where you get the backstory for the one of the main police officers, and that is an iconic story if you've never really read it. There's a really crummy TV show that I have no interest in seeing that looks like they just took the idea and then threw out all the characters and did something totally different, which is idiotic. So don't do that, but the trades are definitely worth checking out. So those are older ones. I have a few that are more modern that I read, and one of them is just obvious, and I'm sure everybody knows it, which is Saga. I mean, if you have not taken the time to check out Saga, do it now because they just entered a big hiatus. They had some shocking character deaths in the more recent issues, and then it's like, now we're taking a little break to reboot the creative ideas that they've got coming from all of this. Again, Brian K. Vaughan, who I mentioned earlier with Why the Last Man. I think they're on 8 or 9 trades now for this. The most recent issue is, I got right here, a big sort of shocking, twisted, deaths. But it's like someone took Dune, right, solar system, outer space, sci-fi, and then just like fully graphically rated R Game of Thrones style thing. So it's really, really good. Everything I just mentioned are what I would call high benchmark quality stuff. So that one is one to check out. And the other one that I've been reading lately is Paper Girls. Also Brian K. Vaughan. I'm a big fan of his stuff. This one is sort of like an all-female. I hate to say Stranger Things, but certainly like in that nostalgia 80s kind of vein, focusing on these girls who have paper routes and kind of all of a sudden there's some science fiction-y kind of stuff happening in their neighborhood and how they get connected to it. And I don't want to ruin any of it, but I'm only on the 2nd trade, so I'm still really early into that one, and I haven't taken it too far yet. But I'm excited to see where it goes, and it does. For those that are like, oh, I missed. It's going to be a while before another Stranger Things season comes around. I would recommend checking into Paper Girls because it might just scratch that itch until you get another season going. So those are the sort of off-brand Image, Vertigo kind of titles that I've been reading and that I've collected. And if you have one that you want me to check out, I've got Oblivion Song, which I'm going to pick up now because it's starting to get really interesting. I've just started reading the first couple issues. So feel free to drop me a recommendation if there's one that you like. T-shirt, the one I'm wearing right now. I was showing Ryan earlier. I really hate football. Sorry if you guys are big fans. I'm not a football fan, My brothers force me to play fantasy football every year, and I just can't stand it. And this is the shirt I wear to kind of complain about it. Because football, let's just face it, it'd be better with Wizards. Um, so if you like football, I'm very sorry. It's just never been my sport. Baseball, I'll watch. Basketball, I'll watch. I'm not a sports guy in general, but hey, I'm a nerd, so what do you expect? Feel free to let me know if you like sports more than that. I'm sorry if I hurt anybody's feelings. Um, like, subscribe, comment. It would be great if you did all those things. And then stick around to the end if you want to check out the DVD collection. It's quite extensive because, again, I like dead technologies, I guess. So thanks for staying tuned, and take it easy.
For Sir Sergeant, Ryan really wanted to. Oh, sorry, I realized I got all sorts of funny things in the background, but Ryan wanted to see the DVDs a little closer up. He wants to. He's super into the movies like me, and so he wanted to see it. This, by the way, is the fire helmet for my father-in-law, who was a fire captain in Orange County, where I grew up and met my wife. And he's passed away sadly, but we keep his helmet on our shelf, and it's a nice little reminder of him. So there's some oddities up there, and I'm sorry about that, but I'm going to try to cruise through the shelves here. So this is we're in the movies section. All right, you got numbers and all the way through C into D here. I don't know how much really gold there is in here, but you got as far as comics go, you got some Amazing Spider-Man, which, that's an all right movie. The Batman films, of course, Christopher Nolan is badass. Bourne, so there's some good gold in there. You can kind of see down into the D's here, and the G's, of course, you see. Let me see if I can get lower here. Indiana Jones, Godfather, Fight Club, of course, all the Harry Potter films down here on the end. Die Hard, one of the greatest action movies of all time. I think Lethal Weapon's over here, one of the other greatest action movies of all time. So there's, I'm a Bill Murray fan. You got your Groundhog's Day right there, big Groundhog Day fan. I used to work in a video store, and that was one of the movies I was allowed to watch at any point I wanted. Lord of the Rings and the L's here, Mission Impossible. I'm a Westerns fan. I grew up with John Wayne as a lot, so I got Red River here, The Quiet Man. I like John Wayne. If you don't like old movies, I think it's a nice way to get into old movies. There's some really great classics in the John Wayne variety. Right Stuff. So we're into the S's now. I'll kneel down here again. And this is S through Z, I think. Sin City. I got only the good Star Wars movies, which means I don't have episode 1 and 2. The Thing. John Carpenter's The Thing. Great movie. Kurt Russell. Into the Z's. And then I kind of made a comic book section here. I'm a big Marvel guy, so I pretty much have all the Marvel movies except for some of the poorer sequels, like, how was it? Iron Man 2, Iron Man 3, not a huge fan. Thor 2, not a big fan, but I got most of the rest of them. And then Wonder Woman, I got some Wonder Woman love going on. X-Men, I'm a big X-Men fan, so most of those except for X3, and I didn't like the last one, Apocalypse, so I don't have that one. So those are the movies, and then over here is the TV series. 24, Battlestar Galactica, Arrested Development, Band of Brothers. Some of them are gifts. So like the CSI, the Law and Order. I know Ryan teased me for the Law and Order, but some of them are just gifts. Dexter, big Dexter fan. I got Friends. Sorry about that. But Fringe, love me some Fringe. Game of Thrones, of course. Glee and Heroes. I liked Glee and Heroes. I'm not gonna lie on that one. Lost, of course, and I have the full box set, which is a long story, but I met Damon Lindelof, and he was nice enough to then send me it as a gift. So this is actually a gift from the creator of Lost. Really awesome guy. Magnum PI, I am a child of the 80s, so big Magnum fan. Down on this shelf, if I go down again, Quantum Leap, I'm a big Quantum Leap fan. Again, child of the 80s. Scrubs, I think Scrubs is an underrated comedy show. I really, really enjoy it. 6 Feet Under, great show. Sports Night, Aaron Sorkin. So I've got my West Wing love over here. Veronica Mars, great show. So there it is, a quick view into my DVDs for Ryan. sorry if you stuck around for that and didn't really want to see that, but that's a little bit of my collection, and hopefully you saw some gold in there.